Hello everyone and welcome to Flickering Myth. I'm going to be diving into a brand new horror review today. Oh boy, I'm jumping into The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. The devil made someone do something, and it was possibly making the most boring Conjuring movie yet. This film has a lot going for it, but it never really goes to the extra oh my god, I am terrified level. There is one scene in the middle which is set inside of a morgue that I was genuinely creeped out. That had the usual atmosphere a Conjuring film has. You know these movies. They are just infamous for setting up a mood, an atmosphere. It's not always the jump scares. It's sometimes just waiting for the jump scare that gets you. And then the jump scares happens and you're like, "Oh, okay, this is fun." This movie just really didn't have the atmosphere as I think the other ones do. I think that first Conjuring movie is one of the strongest paranormal, like ghost haunted house movies in quite some time. I think it holds up to this day as a compelling watch. Now I go to the second film and it starts losing me a little bit. It starts feeling like a sequel. This movie feels like a sequel for sure, but sequels usually in my head up the ante. They're usually bigger, bolder, louder, and crazier. This is a little bit more subtle. This feels also cheaper in some type of way. It's the overall look and feel of this movie. It's just not up to par with the usual Conjuring films. Actually, this feels more like one of those bad Conjuring spin-offs than one of the mainline movies, and that is not great. Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson are back playing the Warrens. Oh boy, do they do a better job of making the Warrens likable people, because in real life they're not as sympathetic as these movies make them feel, but we all know that by now. So they're back as the Warrens and they're doing another mystery, ghost, exorcism, possession type of case. You know, it's one of these cases, it always starts off with maybe a possession and then it goes into let's blame Satanist for everything. Oh god, we will talk about that in a moment. But yes, the Warrens are here and they're having a case. This young man has possibly killed somebody, but it was under the influence of demonic possession. Could they get him off of this legal case? How would they help them? Well, we don't really find that out until the end of the movie. We kind of drop all the legal aspects and go straight for a typical Conjuring movie. There was a time in this film that I thought we were going to get a slight kind of procedural-ish vibe to it. They were going to go into the court cases. They were going to be like, here's my proof. This is the examples I have, and we could have used those to flash back and give us other scenes. But no, we just have a slight mystery here. We have a lot of plot holes. Like, they're trying to figure out how these two characters are connected. They never really dive into that. Even though they mention it, they verbalize it, it's a plot thing to, hey, how do these two people know each other? Not by the end, they don't care. It's all about the Warrens, much like the real life. Sometimes I feel like the Warrens kind of take control over the whole film and don't allow the other characters to play along. I'm just like, yo, we have a pretty spooky villain. We have the, like, Arn character, I don't really know how to pronounce his name, who he is based off a real life man, and I'm glad he's able to have a decent life now and he could put all this craziness behind him. But yeah, so I kind of wanted him to be more of the main character. We would cut to the Warren stuff and I'm like, I don't really care what she's into. Oh god, she's holding her rosary again and trying to face off a demon. Or, oh no, the scariest thing happening to Patrick Wilson in this movie is heart problems. Oh, the real terror of heart problems. Yeah, this movie is so conflicting. I wanted to get sucked into the story. I wanted the Warrens to get this kid off of this murder trial, but we don't really get into that. We go into these blaming Satanists for everything and devil worshippers and, yo, when did these movies become heavy-handed Christian propaganda? Did I miss that in the other ones? Religion's here. I was raised Catholic growing up. I understand religion and demons and stuff play along, but this film felt heavy-handed with its, like, Christian messaging, and I was a little, like, my eyes started glazing over when they were, like, ranting about stuff and blaming everything on Satanists. And I'm like, this movie feels as dated as the 80s. Like, it's set in the 80s, and boy, does it feel like the 80s with the very boring satanic panic stuff. So Conjuring 1 and Conjuring 2 have the same director, James Wan. We know him as the guy who made Insidious. He's also the director of Saw. He's done a Fast and Furious. He's done Aquaman. James Wan is a talented director. He's being replaced this time by Michael Chaves. He's being replaced this time by somebody who is not as skilled as him, and that's an issue here. This film definitely feels a step down, especially if it's going to be the end of these Warren era saga. I would have expected something a little bit bigger, a little bit bolder. This director just doesn't feel like he's up to task to do a big film like this. I previously did the La Llorona film, which was very bad, and this feels a lot like that. A lot of the tropes I didn't like there. A lot of the, okay, we're going to count the jump scare. It's going to happen in 1, 2, 3, 4, jump scare. Yeah, it's a lot of that stuff. It's so formulaic. It's so kind of average. And for the Conjuring movies, I don't usually use the word average, and that's what's throwing me off. It really does feel like James Wan has blessed these films. Now, I do think David F. Sandberg, who did the Shazam movie, he did an Annabelle film, and that was a striking film. So these movies are really dependent on their director to elevate the material. The stuff could be, look, demon possession, ghost stuff. We've seen them a bazillion times now. So you need a director to go above and beyond. This director just did not have it in them. But I also blame the script for this, because this movie has a weak script. It jumps all over the place. Like I said, it's the plot holes for some of the mystery stuff that we just don't really get into. It's a lot of the, oh, okay, the end is a mess. We're trying to do 2 different stories at one time. We have this love, romance theme that goes throughout, that, the power of love can fix everything. Like I said, this feels like an 80s movie. It's like the power of love. Satanists are doing everything, and oh boy, oh god, here's some weird stuff. Oh my goodness. I was just so let down. Like I said, this really truly proves a director can make a film. I think this same movie, same script, same acting, same everything, with James Wan just elevating the material, this could have been so much better. But this, like I said, feels so bland, so mediocre, and you never want to use bland and mediocre when describing a Conjuring movie. Well, everyone, I don't have a lot of nice things to say about The Conjuring. The cinematography feels as flat as it's ever been. Oh, I wish it was better. The costumes felt so generic. This movie just didn't go above and beyond from the technical aspect, from the scares aspect, and the acting was pretty average from what we've seen for these movies. I think Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are very talented actors, and they do the best that they can. But I just wish this movie was a bit better. I wanted to be freaked out. I wanted to be scared, and it just left me craving anything at this point. I was starting to get into the romance drama because I was just like, give me something to sink my teeth into. Yeah, a bit let down with this movie, but what do you guys think? Are you excited for the new Conjuring movie? If you've happened to see this, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel because Flickering Myths makes videos like this every single week, and give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Alright everyone, let's talk about The Conjuring down below.